Okay, overall, I felt like we had a solid week of practice. We just got off the game field about an hour ago. We had our third scrimmage, focused on situations, had a lot of 2 minute scenarios, which is good work. Then we had live punt return, live kickoff return, and then we had a scrimmage close to 60 plays, just a little bit over, pretty much balanced. It was really specifically our ones and twos. The thing that really stood out to me, we had more penalties today than we've had the two previous combined, and being 2 weeks away, that's very concerning. We got to get that cleaned up. We're going to start transition the next 2 weeks in Kentucky. We have 15 practices under our belt. We have 10 left, and we need to improve and we need to get better in the next 2 weeks. As far as our COVID updates, we had two new positives from this past week. We had a total of 10 players total that were out with COVID-related issues, and 5 of those were starters. So, as it gets closer, obviously, that's a concern, being 2 weeks out with everything that goes with that. The PAE test from the SEC office will start tomorrow, and I believe we'll be tested 3 times a week this week and next as far as that goes. But overall, I thought it was a good week. I think we got some good work in. Once again, trying to get our guys game shape ready and start hitting different scenarios and different situations. So next 2 weeks will be a lot more about Kentucky and getting game ready. Questions?
Coach, our first question is from Mark Murphy.
Yes, can you talk about the running back depth chart and how those guys are doing individually?
Yeah, Sean Shivers has had a great camp so far. I know that Coach Williams rotated the other guys in a lot more today, and I think I didn't look at the numbers, but it's pretty close spread out as far as the other 4 is concerned. Getting reps today, that was by design. To see who steps up for that position.
Have you got any feel for how many guys might actually play in game 1 at running back?
As it gets closer, I could probably have that a little bit more, specific. But like I said, right now it was a real evaluation day for a handful of those other running backs.
Thanks.
Our next question is from Steve Moulton.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned there with the pre-snap penalties. I'm wondering also for what you've seen this fall with maybe missed tackles and turnovers. Is that all concerning to you?
I don't think there was a turnover today offensively. There was in the previous scrimmages, like I talked about, but it's just getting closer, and you got to clean up all the things like that. And I think overall, I think we've tackled, pretty well. Definitely considering that we didn't go through spring, that's been a big emphasis, and we've tackled more, this fall camp than any other. Of course, I'm sure most teams are doing that because tackling is going to be at a premium, especially early in the season. And so we've understood that. But, just the pre-snap penalties, obviously, we got to clean up. And the urgency, that's why I talked to the guys right after the scrimmage. Hey, fellas, our urgency has to be better and better every single day leading up to the game time.
And you mentioned wanting to be 3 deep at certain positions. How do you feel your overall depth now that we're 2 weeks out?
We worked extremely hard on it. Today was a little bit more of ones and twos, the 2 previous scrimmages and practice. I'll say this. We've had a whole bunch of guys out, like I've told you, the last month. So, when you've got guys out, specifically starters out, it gives other guys opportunities. So on the positive end of it, our other guys have got more reps than they've ever got. And on the positive, if you got a veteran guy that has a lot of experience and he's not able to practice because of a COVID-related issue, then it's going to give you an opportunity to develop more quality depth, especially when you're talking about with your ones. And so, there's been some positives, so I'll say this. I do think we've developed more depth than we have had in the past in fall camp, but that's just part of the process that has presented itself.
Next question is from J.G. Tate.
Hey, Gus. It's nice to talk to you. Thank you for taking the time. You say you have 5 presumed starters that are out right now. I know that's concerning to you as the season coming up. Are there things that you guys can do to just kind of, I guess, tighten up or whatever? Do you have to explain to them, hey, man, we can't have this happening in the season?
Yeah, you know, I think the big thing is I think we've done an excellent job. If you look at the last 3 weeks as far as the number of positives, the challenge is the close contacts. And, you know, that's something that, you know, is a big emphasis for us. But I know that is a big emphasis for everyone. That's the challenge for everyone right now is the close contacts. And so we've really educated our guys. We've told them what they've got to do. We got to stay 6 feet away everywhere we're at, and so I expect our guys to do that. But I mean, you're sitting here 2 weeks from kick, and you know you've got some of your guys that aren't practicing. Obviously, it's concerning, but I expect our team. They've done a very good job every time we've challenged them. You know, with something they've done it, and I expect them to continue to do that.
Tell them, like, don't go out. Let's just work on football and school and nothing else right now.
And I think for the most part, our guys have done that. But you know, it's being 6 feet away. I mean, you know, our guys have done a good job with masks, but you got to be 6 feet away. And you know, I know our coaches here in the building. I mean, that's just the way we've operated. And it becomes a way of life. And you know, like I said, I think overall our guys have done a really good job. But you know, when you're talking about the close contacts, when you do have a positive, that's the issue, and that's the issue that everybody's dealing with.
Next question is from Tom Green.
Hey, Gus. The other day, Kevin was saying that Chris Thompson's really done a good job of working his way up into that safety rotation. Just what stood out to you about him this preseason as a freshman?
Well, first of all, it's important to him. That's what stood out. You know, I think he's got a really good football IQ too, and you know, you got to understand those freshmen, they're learning as they go, and you know, we put a lot on those guys as far as our you know, our installs been a lot faster than it normally is in normal fall camp because we didn't have spring. So I think he's adjusted well, and really overall, I think the freshman group overall has. And you know, I think this freshman group's got a chance to really be have a chance to be special. They're off to a great start. Really in the classroom, they're off to a great start with Coach Russell working out, and then it's transitioning on the field too. So they've got a chance to really be a special class, I feel like.
Next up is Bill Cameron.
Back to the COVID situation with the Kentucky game 2 weeks away. Can you explain the 17-day deal that you were talking about? Is there any way to change that 17, or is it a strict 17 for anyone who tests positive?
Well, I think you know, you look and it seems like every week there's changes to that and to close contacts and all that. So we're just taking it week by week and adjusting best we can.
Next up is Jason Caldwell.
Guys, Kevin talked about, you know, a couple of freshmen at linebacker stepping up because they've gotten more reps. Has that been one of the benefits of this, is that those guys have been able to get more reps and get them more prepared than they might be in a normal situation?
Yeah, you're exactly right. You know, if you got guys out, and of course, 2 weeks ago we had to cancel a few practices because we had some low numbers at certain positions because of out for COVID-related issues. So that's the positive. I mean, they're getting quality reps. It's not like just getting reps with the threes and everything gets a little bit ugly. No, those young guys are actually getting reps with the ones and twos when it really is sound around them, and they have a chance to really show what they can do, be successful. So, you know, that's the positive, and you know, that's the way we're looking at it. And like I told you a couple weeks ago, I think the teams that can adjust and not get distracted or get discouraged and all that just say next man up, and that's the teams I think are going to have, you know, an advantage.
Thanks.
Next question is from Drew Carter.
Hey guys, thanks for doing this. So when you have to quarantine players, what do you tell them to do during quarantine, especially this close to the season, to keep them ready?
Well, I mean, that they can Zoom meetings, which we're professional Zoomers right now, you know, that we've been doing. So it's becoming like the new normal. But you know, they're not behind as far as you know, the installs, the practice film, and all that. It's just a matter of, you know, not being able to be out there and get the actual physical reps.
Next question is from John Zener.
Hey, Gus. I know the concern is not necessarily the number of positives or guys out, but the position groups. One, has there been a position group that's been particularly hard hit? And two, Is there a mathematical possibility to get these guys back for the opener?
Yeah, I think all those guys will be back for the opener. The issue is that we're 2 weeks away from our first opponent, and we're going to really focus on a game plan. And if you don't have those guys for the game plan and you get them, the week of the game, I mean, it's just reps, that preparation reps. That's the challenge. And as far as positions, I really don't want to get into specifics about positions, but we did have 2 positions that were hit extremely hard 2 weeks ago that that we had to make adjustments. But we talked about it before, and it's a learning experience. And if it happens in the season, you just got to adjust.
Got a follow-up from Mark Murphy.
Yes, who's looks like going to be the kickoff returners, the punter, and who's going to hold for field goals and extra points?
Yeah, we're still working through the holding, okay, and we're still working through the punters. So both those guys got good work, today at the stadium. So we'll take a look at that. This week will be real critical now that we're getting into our game plan and what that looks like. As far as our kick returner, Shivers, he has a lot of experience. Eli Stove's got a lot of experience. Mark Anthony Richards. We did some live ones today, and I think those guys got reps doing that. So still working through the holding and still working through the punting.
Is Flash a guy getting a look at kickoff returns?
As of right now, no. That could change, but he's going to have plenty of opportunities to do different things.
Thanks.
Next question is from Brian Matthews.
Hey, Coach, thanks again for speaking to us, and thanks for the coordinators earlier this week. Wanted to ask you about left tackle position. How's that looking now? Who are the finalists, and do you have a starter yet?
Yeah, Trox and Alec Jackson is battling that out right now. We have moved guys around, and we've mixed and matched, but it looks like it's getting to that point, and seeing who steps up.
And as a follow-up, Gus, how do you feel overall about your offensive line? Just better, good, worried? How do you feel?
Here's the thing. Each day I think they've gotten better. We've moved guys around to try to figure out what is our best lineup. And we've had a couple injuries, couple guys out during this time. But, after this scrimmage, it's going to be, okay, here's the pieces of the puzzle. We got 2 weeks to prepare. So I know the offensive staff's talking about that as we speak, breaking down the film and looking to see what that'll look like.
Next question is from Gianna Hahn.
Hi, Gus. I really like the hat, first of all. But
Thank you.
we've heard Zevion Caper's name come up several times. What have you seen out of him so far, and where do you think his strengths lie at the moment?
Whose name?
Zevion Capers.
Yeah, Capers is coming on. He's got a lot of opportunities. He's one of those guys that, Coach Burns has thrown him with the one some, and he's a guy that has playmaking ability. I think he is learning every day, and I think he's responding well. And he's just trying to get used to the college game. And you got to understand, I don't care if it's any freshman, offense or defense, there's adjustment of the college game from high school, of just the consistency and everything that goes with that, and the physical part of the game. But I think he's responded well. I think he's a guy, if you ask me today, that will definitely have a chance to help us this season.
We got a follow-up from Steve Moulton.
Yes, Coach. You mentioned last week that you were definitely going to have one more scrimmage. That obviously happened today. Do you think there'll be another scrimmage?
Next Saturday we're planning on going to the stadium under the lights, and of course we have the new lights. I want us to get used to those. I know there's other teams in our league that are doing the same thing. So we'll do that. We'll probably pump some crowd noise in too next Saturday. I can't tell you right now it's going to be a scrimmage, but it is going to be situational, and we'll get good work in. And like I said, we need the work. We didn't go through spring again, so everything's accelerated. It won't be just a walkthrough. In the past, the week before, really the Saturday before, has been almost like a dress rehearsal. We've still got work to do, and so I have not decided exactly what that's going to look like, but it'll be a good one.
When does Kentucky prep start?
Tomorrow.
Coach, our next question is from Josh Vitale.
Hey, Gus. Todd mentioned that he wants Auburn's offense to be the most explosive in the country this season. You've talked in the past about how important big plays are. How do you go about trying to create more of those?
Yeah, I think it's big play opportunities. I mean, I think that's the big thing, and you got to execute them at the same time. You got to give your guys opportunities, and that's what Chad does best. And he understands the formula, and that's a big part of his thinking.
Next question is from Justin Ferguson.
Hey, Gus, you mentioned Sean Shivers earlier having a really good camp. What about him has impressed you, especially getting into what Chad wants to do with his running backs?
Well, his consistency, he finished the season on a high note, and he's very confident. He knows the offense inside and out. He's a really good protector. He's playing at a high level, and he's one of the bright spots, I think, on the whole team at this point, just with his positive energy and everything that goes with it. And he's making a really good bright spot on special teams too.
Thank you.
Next question is from Justin Lee.
Hey, Gus, kind of a changing topic. I wanted to ask you about Auburn United Together We Will. You got the shirt on. I guess this past couple of weeks, what were some of the things that were important to your players that you heard from them that you guys wanted to kind of tackle with that? And I guess how special was it to kind of execute this part of the plan?
Yeah. First of all, Auburn family together, we will unite as one. I've just been so impressed and encouraged about the Auburn family coming together during these times. And you look at all of our, Barkley and Bo and Tim Cook, Octavia Spencer, Tim Hudson, Jason Duffner, Carrie Onge. I mean, just everybody coming together. And that's what we need at this time. And it's off to a great start. I believe first 24 hours we sold 4,500 shirts. So that tells you a lot. And, just as far as our football team's concerned is, we talked about, we had our education time during the summer, and we had 11 different speakers or different things we did. And now it's time for the action part. And this was a big, very important to our players and our coaches, and just making our campus more diverse. And really what we've been talking about as a team is, what can we do as a team that 10 years from now we can look back and make a positive change and look back, and our campus, is more diverse. And so that's very important to our players. I'm very, proud of them. I'm proud of our staff. They had something to do with it. Bruce Pearl deserves a lot of credit. Him and his basketball team, and then Allen too. So, it's just a real special time, the Auburn family coming together. And so I'm real excited about the way it started off.
Next question, Coach, is a follow-up from Jason Caldwell.
Gus, you mentioned Trox and Alec Jackson. How much have you seen Austin kind of settle back in after, the last couple of years he's had and start to kind of find that form?
Yeah, he's getting more confidence every practice, you can tell. He had the 3 surgeries and just the mental aspect of that, but he is a talented young man. It's very important to him. You can see him improving. And then Alec, I really see him, just the urgency and the comfort. And just anytime, you got a guy that is competing for a starting spot, it's just different. And, you can really find out a whole lot about them when they're with that first group. So we got great information, and it's a good battle right now.
Thanks.
Next question is from Bill Cameron.
Coach, you mentioned Xavier Capers, but who really, after your 3 most experienced and Seth, Eli, and Flash, has caught your eye, or do you have the most confidence in stepping up and being a big playmaker?
Yeah, Shedrick Jackson is a guy that's really coming on. I mean, he came on at the end of the last year, and just a really confident guy, and is having a really good camp. And Colby Hudson's another young guy that's been thrown in the mix, and he's getting some reps. With the 1 sometimes too. So Coach Burns feels like he's got some quality depth there, and just trying to get those young guys, as many reps as they can that actually mean something.
Thanks.
A follow-up from Tom Green.
Hey, Gus. In a recent interview, I saw Bo said that last season he kind of lost his confidence and swagger. Just how did you see him handle that, and what can you do to build off that going into the sophomore season?
Yeah. Well, first of all, if we're real with ourselves, he as a true freshman quarterback, he played the toughest schedule in college football, maybe in the last 10 years, if you really look at the schedule and the road games that he had to do. So, yeah, any freshman quarterback would have had tough times. I was impressed that he held things together as good as he did, because it was extremely challenging. And, when you're a quarterback at a place like Auburn or a top SEC school, there's unbelievable pressure that goes with that. And the highs are high, the lows are low. But, yeah, at times he lost his confidence to a certain point, but he's a fighter, and he kept fighting. And, he played his best ball in the Iron Bowl and made some great plays to help us win that game. So, he's different now. I mean, it feels different. His approach is different. He's no longer a true freshman. And, I expect him to be a leader on this team.
All right, Coach, we're going to take two more. First one is from AP Stidham.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering if you received any directive from the SEC about game day. Can you have piped in crowd noise or any of those types of things?
I think there's talking through that, crowd noise until you put your hand on the ball. So next Saturday we'll not only work on that, but we'll work on the lights and the new light show and everything that goes with that.
Next one is from Mark Murphy.
Gus, can you talk about how many true freshmen might actually play in the opening game, and how important is it to be able to play those guys and not have to worry about red shirts this year, which is
Mark, that's a good question. I mean, I think from a coach's standpoint, you got to be prepared to play them all. I mean, week by week, if you can get tested 3 times a week, we've been tested 2 times a week, but now if you go to 3, I mean, things change so quick. And like I said, the biggest challenge isn't the positive, it's the contact tracing. So just from our mindset as coaches, and we told the freshmen, you all got to be ready to play. And so they've all gotten reps. But your last question, not having to worry about 4 games and the red shirt, that really, it takes a lot of the other stuff off. But this is a unique year. And not just the freshmen, but, everyone has to be thinking that they're going to get to play this season. Now, we'll see how that goes. But it's just it's a different day.
Thanks.
Coach, I misspoke earlier. We've got 2 more if you've got time.
Okay, thanks, Kirk.
You're welcome. First one's from Philip Marshall.
Okay, yeah, we had to have Philip in there.
Thank you. Gus, there was some talk earlier from Chad about that he liked to play 2 offensive lines. Is that something that's in the books? Like you talked about Alec and Trox, could they both play some kind of alternating play?
That's something, Philip, that, like I said, they're talking about right now with their plan. And this being such a unique year, I think everything's on the table, as far as, being prepared.
Our last one's from Brian Matthews.
Hi, Coach. Thank you so much. You talked about having backups for your assistant coaches if they test positive. Who would back up if you were to test positive?
One thing that I've already kind of got my mind on is, if I did figure out a way in either in an isolated place in the stadium or Zoom in, and so I know my buddy Hugh Freeze, coached last year laying down in a hospital bed, so that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm going to figure out a way either through technology or through isolation to still do it.
Coach, thank you so much for speaking to us all today. Have a nice afternoon.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.